substance.
No, I remember one time when I first became Muslim, someone brought me to Speaker's Corner, and then what's it called? The first and only time I ever been there, I got clipped in some Christian's YouTube video.
Yeah.
I was just there sitting for most of the conversation. Just
Alhamdulillah, what's the 2024, yeah? Let me work this out. 24 minus 6. Yeah. 18 years I've been Muslim. I haven't been Speaker's Corner once.
Yeah, same.
I don't even know where it is.
you don't know where it is?
I just know it's in Hyde Park.
Oh yeah.
As for where,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it? It's not worth going.
No, don't waste your time, bro.
No, I fight my case. Someone brought me that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying nothing on you. I'm saying for you, what are you gonna go there for?
I know. It's just that obviously you see clips on YouTube and stuff sometimes.
That's exactly why
And you see like, especially now, like for the past few months, any clips that I've seen, it's like the Muslims getting onto the Muslims now as well.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's less with Muslims versus foreign.
Yeah.
Even the asl of Speaker's Corner was for politics.
And plus, I think
If you're stressed, yeah, and you feel like going Speaker's Corner, go sleep instead.
No.
It's better for you.
You have a dream.
Literally.
Fighting in your sleep.
Allah understand. Because you have to remember, when it comes to debating, that person himself, they don't want to accept the truth. They're not waiting for someone to show them the truth. They're trying to prove that they have the truth. You see, it becomes just a clash of heads.
But like, because obviously some brothers that go there, they claim to be like proper Salafi, right? Not mentioning any name. But it's like, are they supposed to? I mean, it's not supposed to, but is that even a good form of da'wah?
I find it very funny that at some stage they say you debate Ahlul Bid'ah, you're Mubtadi'. But now they debate all the time and it's okay because they do it. This is the problem. It's double standards. But me, alhamdulillah, I got no time to waste on these people. There's too much more important things. Like, there's people that actually want to learn Islam. You talk to them in a nice environment, a nice conversation. Alhamdulillah. If I want to become famous, maybe I'll go Speaker's Corner. But other than that, why am I going? Oh! Al-Mubtasim's here now. Allah understand. For what? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya wa mursaleen amma ba'd. So continue where we left off inshallah ta'ala with Manhaj as-salikeen. We're on the bab Sifatul Wudu. So the things that we discussed prior to this was manners of going to relieve oneself. Now we have the chapter of Al-Wudu. Because most times after you relieve yourself, you go and make wudu. That's all the things that nullifies your wudu. فhe mentions هو أن ينوي رفع الحدث أو الوضوء للصلاة ونحوها. Okay, he says mention is to make the intention of removing that spiritual impurity, or al-wudu for salah and the likes. Why does it say or wudu for salah? Why do you think it mentions that?
Because you have to make wudu for salah, but obviously if you're doing it for spiritual impurity, that's like...
It says to make the intention of removing spiritual impurity, or for salah. This is only for wudu.
Before you sleep.
You can make wudu before you sleep, yes? Good.
That's not for salah.
But why do you think it says for salah specifically? I'm looking for a specific answer.
So that's the specific thing. This wudu for salah.
No, but raf al-hadath, from you make that you can pray. So why is it saying oh salah again?
because it's the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would make wudu when he had wudu already.
Hey, good. Tajdeed al-wudu. Oh, man. You know, he said, oh yeah, I was hoping you got it right. Now, because you don't have to have broken your wudu to make wudu for salah. You can make wudu, tajdeed al-wudu for salah. Now, you can make wudu already having been in a state of purity, again, for the salah. Also, of the thing that's mentioned, an-niyatu, which is the intention, شرط لجميع الأعمال من طهارة وغيرها. Intention is a condition for all actions, whether it's purification or not. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى متفق عليه. Based on the hadith that for every action is based on their intentions, and for each person is that which they intended. So let's say I go to the wudu area and I start making wudu, but my intention is it's hot now, I just need to cool down. And I just wash all the areas of wudu, but I didn't make intention for removing impurity. I just made wudu to cool down. My intention is to cool down, I'm hot. هل يمكن أن أصلي? Is it possible for me to pray? No. I have to make wudu with the intention that it's for the salah, it's for removing that spiritual impurity. How does one leave off a sin that he's drowning in? That question is a lecture. The answer is a lecture. Rather, the answer is a series of lectures. And what I advise you personally to do, or whoever is in that situation, is to read the book of Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, The Disease and Its Cure, as that is a response to that kind of question. Now, so it's important that a person has the correct intention. Why am I making wudu? Is it to pray, or is it just to cool down, and the like? Okay. The next thing that's mentioned, ثُمَّ يَقُولُ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ. It's not an obligation to say Bismillah. The hadith that says there's no wudu without the basmala, the tasmiyah, this is da'if, it's not authentic. So it's not an obligation to say Bismillah. Rather, it's recommended. If you don't say it, your wudu is still correct.
If you remember, when you don't say it's bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. يغسل كفيه ثلاثا.
You're allowed to say Bismillah in front of Najasa. So now there's a lot of toilets where you're allowed to say Bismillah.
Sheikh Mashur Hassan, Hafidh Ta'ala, he discusses this in one of his sessions of Fatawa. Asked about saying the basmala in the bathroom, saying the tasmiyah in the bathroom. He said, relieving yourself is an intention. So if I go to the bathroom to make wudu, in places where the toilet and the place to make wudu is in the same place, can I say the Bismillah there? He says yes, because your intention is not to relieve yourself. Because the asl of the khala is an empty space, not an actual room. So a person will make intention to go to the khala, the empty space, to relieve themselves. But if you go with the intention to make wudu, then it's permissible to say Bismillah. Now, so يغسل كفيه ثلاثا. Wash his hands 3 times. Okay. Washing the hands 3 times. This is sunnah. And more so when you wake up from sleep. When you wake up from sleep, you wash your hands 3 times. Not in, like, let's say for example you have a container of water. You don't put your hands directly in the container. You use something to take water out and you wash your hands 3 times. Now, because this is لا يدري أين باتت يده. Doesn't know where his hand spent the night. Okay. Now.
So can you let the tap run on your hand?
Yeah. You know,
Because I didn't understand it when I used to hear it back in the day as well.
yeah. Because the tap running is not stored. The water's always being recycled. But I'm talking about, let's say I got a bucket.
Oh,
I can't just
it did
go straight in the bucket
Okay.
like this. No. Then he mentioned ثم يتمضمض ويستنشق ثلاثا بثلاث غرفات. Then you rinse your mouth and your nose 3 times with 3 handfuls of water. From what we can understand from this, you put water in your mouth and your nose with 1 handful. So is that like this? Okay, with 1 handful. And then you istanship, you blow out with the left hand like this. Okay. Wajib is once. 3 times is sunnah. More than 3 times is bid'ah, haram. Okay. So once is an obligation. 3 times is sunnah. Okay. حتى اختلف أهل العلم هل هذا واجب to rinse your nose and mouth, is this wajib? There's difference of opinion. Some say it's wajib, some say it's mustahab. And this, because this is an important question when some people, for example, they have sinus issues. So they have surgery in their nose, they're not allowed to make istinshaq for maybe a couple of days, weeks even at times. And what do they do for wudu? Make wudu, but you don't rinse your nose. Especially if those who say that it's not wajib. You can still do wudu, the rest of the wudu, like this. ثم يغسل وجهه ثلاثا. Then he washes his face 3 times. Again, 3 times the sunnah, obligation is once. والوجه, this is the face from here to here and around here. This is the face. Okay, that's what's apparent. Okay, if you got a beard, then you go inside it. May Allah give the brothers who don't have a big beard, Ameen. Ya Rab. The audio is kind of muffled here. I don't know if it's just yours or anything else. Allah Musta'an, I don't know. I don't know if it's my voice. My voice is a bit muffled too. Brothers, you want a beard? Make dua. Use rosemary oil 3 times a week. Get a derma roller. Massage it. Stimulate the follicles. Inshallah, help beard growth. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what about if you have a little bit? Then just give a little water. It's a little bit. After you wash your face 3 times, then you wash your hands until your elbows 3 times. Okay, let's say I wash my hands in the beginning of wudu 3 times. So now I'm going to actually do this part after washing my face. I want to start from my wrist into my elbow. Is that okay? No. Why?
But it says wash from your hands to your elbow.
From your hands to your elbow. But this is a part, this is a pillar of the wudu. This is an obligation. And the first thing you mentioned of washing the hands, we said, what is the ruling of that? Sunnah. Sunnah can never take the place of an obligation. And from the conditions of wudu is tartib. The only time tartib, the condition is dropped, as mentioned by Ahl al-Ilm, is in the ghusl. When you're performing ghusl. You don't have to follow the order. But as for wudu, tartib min shurut al-wudu, you have to do it in order. Now. So you wash from your elbow up until including your elbow to your fingertips. To your fingertips. Takes it out. Now. Again, this is 3 times, but we said once is an obligation, 3 times is what? Sunnah. ويمسح رأسه من مقدم رأسه إلى قفاه بيديه ثم يعيدهما إلى المحل الذي بدأ منه مرة واحدة. So as for the head, you get water, from Muqaddim al-Ra's, the beginning, you don't get a hand, you don't soak your hands and then just throw it on. You wet your hands from the beginning to the back, to the front. Don't get new water. Index, inside the ear. Thumb, behind. Good to go. You see that? Very good, very nice. Thumbs up. Don't wash your head. It says wipe. And how many times you do it? Once. To do it 3 times is what? Bid'ah. To do it more than once is bid'ah. Wiping over the head has to be done only once. Do I do this after? Back of the neck? La. هذا لا يصح. That's not correct to be done. جيد. Then, after this, ثم يغسل رجليه مع الكعبين. Inshallah ta'ala, after we finish this book, we'll go to a book of hadith in fiqh, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So we'll do something like Umdat al-Ahkam, where you'll see the evidence, the study of fiqh from the aspect of hadith also. Inshallah, that's the plan. So for now, it mentions, because here is books of fiqh, sometimes they don't mention the evidence, but then you have books that have been authored to give you the evidence of it. Now, then you wash your feet up until and including your ankles. Okay? Right foot first and left foot 3 times. But obligation is how many times? Once. الفرض من ذلك أن يغسل مرة واحدة. That's what it mentions. The obligation is to wash 1 time, as we've been emphasizing. وأن يرتبها على ما ذكره الله تعالى في قوله. Now, this is where we understand the importance of the Arabic language also, okay? It has to be done in the order that Allah has mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 6. Allah mentions, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. So here it mentions, all you who believe, when you stand up for the salah, then wash your faces. And then your hands up until the elbows. And then wipe over your head. And your feet. Here it says, if you do a literal translation, and your feet. How do I know it's not wiping the feet and washing the feet?
So the Prophet washed his feet.
Without looking at anywhere else in this ayah.
So can you repeat the last bit?
وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ. أصحاب النحو, the people of grammar will know this. If you accidentally want to do one part out of sequence but still have covered all parts of the wudu is still sahih. What do you mean? Like if you do a part before another part? You have to go back and, because it has fatha for feet. Excellent. Jayyid. Jazakallah khair. If it was to wipe the feet, it says وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, because it will be ma'tuf. The waw would mean and it will follow what comes after it. Okay, will follow what came before it. But this and of waw وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ is going back to اغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق. جميل. وألا يفصل بينها بفاصل طويل عرفا بحيث لا ينبني بعده على بعض وكذا كل ما اشترطت أو ما اشترطت له الموالاة. So basically, you cannot, it has to be done consecutively. You can't pause between each limb. Of the things that they mentioned, scholars have said, this time period is that until the limb, you can't leave the limb to get dry before you wash the next limb. And that's without any interference. Like for that limb to become dry, they say roughly it takes about 10 minutes. Roughly, on an average day, if you wash your arm, for example, that part of your body, and you just leave it, it will dry in about 10 minutes. Okay? But it's important that the wudu is done consecutively. Don't go wash your hands, don't go rinse your mouth, your nose, take a break, come back, wash your face, chill for a bit, have a break, call your friend quick, 5 minutes, boom, carry on. لا هذا تعظيم يعني هذا وضوء تتعبد لله. Now, some of the scholars mentioned when you see someone doing wudu, don't give them salam, especially when they're doing these parts where they can't respond. No.
But let's say, for example, you wash your face and then you remember to turn your alarm off, for example, so you run upstairs 30 seconds and you come back. Do you have to wash your face again, or can you go straight to your?
No, you go straight to the next part. No.
Are you allowed to speak when you're doing wudu?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're allowed to screech, or I thought you was.
Yeah, you're allowed to speak. Maybe disliked, because just focus on that to wash it, but it's not haram. No.
So it's kind of same. Does khushu' start from your wudu?
You could say so. Khushu' starts from when you make intention that you're going to the salah. So anything that leads to that. You know? That's how the person, when you're walking to the masjid for salah, you're in salah. So it's that having that mental preparation, because sometimes we busy ourselves with stuff that when we actually enter the salah, our mind is elsewhere. Now, is that clear? What we've mentioned so far? طيب. The next topic is al-mashu al-khuffayn wal-jabira. Wiping over the socks and the cast, bandages and the likes. Okay. It says فإن كان عليه خفان ونحوهما مسح عليهما إن شاء. If a person is wearing socks or the likes, he's allowed to wipe over them if he wants. Conditions يوما وليلة للمقيم. If you're not traveling, then you have a day and a night. وثلاثة أيام بلياليهن للمسافر. And 3 nights, days and nights for the one who is a traveler. طيب متى تبدأ وقت المسح? When does the time start for wiping over the socks? When you put the socks on? مصطفى تفضل.
When you make wudu, then put the sock on. Like when you make wudu without the sock on, and then you put the sock on.
Okay, so as he said, put this when you put the sock on.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah. Yours is mufassal, his is mukhtasar. Yours is detailed, his is concise. السلام عليكم حبيبي عمي عزيز حياك الله يبارك فيك.
When you break the wudu,
When you break your wudu.
when
When
you do wudu again.
you do, which one? You said 2 answers. When you break your wudu, or when you do wudu again?
When you do wudu again.
When you do wudu again. Good. Any other answers?
When you've wiped your socks.
When you wiped your socks, when you made wudu again, yeah. Now, so the moment you actually make masah the first time, that's when the time period starts. Okay? Let's say something you're fasting, you don't need to relieve yourself at all. So I put on my sock at Fajr. It's cold. I didn't break wudu until Maghrib. MashaAllah. The time starts from Maghrib. I didn't break it till Maghrib. I made wudu for Salat al-Maghrib. From that time, that's when the 24 hours will start. It's when you wipe the sock. From you wipe the sock, that's when your day starts. No.
Sorry, can you repeat the first 2 conditions?
The first 2 conditions, you said a day and a night if you're resident. 3 days and 3 nights if you're a traveller. Okay? No.
If you're traveling, within your 3 days, if you take your socks off, then obviously if you have to make wudu again, you have to wash your feet.
As soon as you take the sock off, the wiping is broken. Now, And that's from the first time you wipe. Let's say you took it off, but you haven't wiped yet. You still have wudu, for example, and you put it back on. You haven't. The mess hasn't started yet. So there's conditions now for wiping the sock. أن يلنا وأدخلتهما طاهرتين. I entered into them in state of tahara. So don't take them off. He's going to wipe over the sock. Question. What is more virtuous? To take them off and make wudu completely, or to wipe over the sock? Wipe over the sock? Who agrees? He doesn't agree.
I do agree.
You do agree?
I think it's a trick question, that's why.
Maybe not. None is more virtuous. What's more virtuous is to wipe. Now, why? It's sunnah. Now, also, Allah loves that you take His concessions the way you come with His obligations. Now, so it's preferred, it's better, more virtuous to take the concessions. هذا also, this is شكر لله يعني مظاهر تيسير الشرع. This is also the apparent ease within the Sharia. Now, also لا يمسحهما إلا في الحدث الأصغر. Only from minor impurities can you wipe over the sock. If you need the ghusl, you can't shower with the socks on and then wipe over the socks.
Can you repeat the phrase, please, of Allah loves that you take His concessions?
As you do His obligations. Allah يحب أن يؤتى أو يؤتى رخصه كما يؤتى فرائده أو تؤتى فرائده. It's like this. The hadith is slipping. So from major impurity, you can't wipe over socks. You have to take them off. You have to make ghusl, because it's either hadath al-akbar or hadath al-asghar. Major impurity or minor impurity. Major impurity requires ghusl. Minor impurity is what requires wudu. So it's only from minor impurity. Also, the hadith of Anas that mentions إذا توضأ أحدكم ولبس خفيه فليمسح عليهما وليصلي فيهما ولا يخلعهما إن شاء إلا من جنابة. So if one of you performs wudu and then wears his socks, then let him wipe over his socks and pray in them and do not take them off if he wills, except from janaba. That's hadath al-akbar, major impurity. Now, فإن كان على أعضاء وضوئه جبيرة على كسر أو دواء على جرح ويضره الغسل مسحه بالماء في الحدث الأكبر والأصغر حتى يبرأ. So let's say a person has a wound or an injury of a broken limb, ونسأل السلامة والعافية, and they have a cast or a bandage that if they was to get it wet, it will cause harm. Okay, they cannot get it wet. What do? They perform wudu as normal. And as for that part where they can't get wet, they wipe over it. They wipe over it. وصفة مسح الخفين أن يمسح أكثر ظاهرهما. So how do you wipe over the socks? You wipe over the top, the majority of the top of your sock. Now, this is also a very important lesson. The statement of Ali bin Abi Talib, he mentions لو كان الدين على عقل لمسحنا تحت الخفين. If this religion was built upon the intellect, we would wipe the bottom of the sock. And it shows you Islam is not based upon what you think. And that's a lesson for people that have big egos because they think they're so intelligent, so smart. In reality, which part of the sock would normally be dirty? The bottom, right? When you go put your white socks in the wash, for example, the bottom is always a different colour than the top. The top stays white. The bottom is, mashallah, is different colours, depending on where you was. You see? But you wipe the top of the sock. Now, as for when you have a cast, then you wipe the whole cast. You wipe the whole cast. Wadah? Of the thing that's always also discussed when it comes to wiping is the khimar or the imama. You know, those who do the proper wrapping, the big one, and it's difficult to take off. It's allowed to wipe over if you already wore it on the state of tahara. The same rules apply. If a sister, let's say she's in a public place, she's not able to remove it to perform wudu, she wipes over it. She doesn't have to put her fingers in to get into her ears. It's sufficient to just wipe like this, khalas. Now, that's sufficient. That's also permitted. Okay? If you're wearing the red and white scarf like this with the crease in the middle, you can't wipe over that. Yeah. It's taking liberties now. Jayyid. طيب, next thing that I mentioned, Bab Nawaqid al-Wudu, that which nullifies the wudu. وهي الخارج من السبيلين مطلقة. Anything that comes out of the two passageways, the front private, the back private area. الدم الكثير ونحوه. That's a thing of difference of opinion. Shaykh Sa'd himself says he's more of the opinion that blood and vomit do not break the wudu, whether it's a large amount or a small amount. So these are the matters that are differed in. Okay. زوال العقل بنوم أو غيره. Loss of consciousness due to sleep or anything else. Is that itself what breaks the wudu? La, it's madhannatun lil nawaqid. It's because it's more than likely that something can happen that will break your wudu and you will not be aware of it. Sleep itself doesn't break your wudu, but it's the high possibility that you will pass wind and the likes in your sleep. Now, that you'll break wudu. Aklu lahm al-jazur. Eating camel's meat breaks the wudu. There are things that are specific about camels. One, the wudu, eating the meat breaks the wudu. لا تصح الصلاة في أعطانها. You can't pray in the stables of the camel. Also, they are the asl in paying blood money. Paying blood money, ransom and out of blood money. The asr is doing it in camels. Those are three things that I mentioned to be specific about matters related to the camel. Massul mar'a bi shahwatin. Touching the woman with desire, the opposite gender of desire. هذا فيه خلاف. And also massul farj, touching the private part. Again, fihi khilaf. Now, you have about a number of statements. Those who say, in general, it doesn't break the wudu. Some who say, if desire breaks the wudu. Some say, it always breaks the wudu, whether it's desires or not. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. I'm not going to say my opinion. They are the three, based on what is deemed to be more strongest, based on evidence, that's the opinion you follow. Now,
out of the three, is there any with the strongest evidence?
Allahu A'lam. me personally, with the desire. But other than that, la. And that is based on the fact that it's not the touching of the private part that breaks the wudu, but more so because of what it will lead to that will break the wudu, and that is madhi. Khuruj al-madhi. Al-madhi is premature fluid. Okay? That breaks the wudu and you have to wash your private area. Okay? Taghsil al-mayyit, washing the dead. What is more correct, that doesn't break your wudu. Ar-riddatu, apostasy, that breaks all of your actions. Now, not only you don't have wudu, you're now najis anyway. You're considered to be impure anyway.
So you know the canon is that difference of opinion as well, is that?
In the Shafi'iyyin. Yeah. With the Shafi'i madhab, they say don't break your wudu. Wallahu a'lam, but I believe that's marjuh. No, I believe the stronger opinion is that it does break the wudu. But again, this is based upon knowledge. So if you come across people, if you come across people that do take this stance, but you take a different stance, alhamdulillah, you do what you take, they do what they take, khalas. Don't have to become enemies. There's a hadith which mentions touching the private breaks wudu, yes. There's also a hadith that mentions it doesn't. So you have khilaf bayna ahl al-ilm. Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he mentions based upon that difference of those ahadith that seem contradicted, but they're not. He says that we may take the obligation, the command, as istihbab and not wujub, as a high recommendation and not obligation. No. Wallahu a'lam. No.
So if someone takes the opinion that eating camel meat doesn't break wudu and they're eating camel meat and you're about to pray behind them, would your prayer not be accepted if you?
No, it's sahih.
Okay, it's fine. Your prayer is
Fine.
You okay.
But as for you can't say, the imam is not making wudu today from camel's meat, so I'm going to join him. And now he's like, I can't be asked to make wudu. هذا اتباع الهواء. This is following desires. Some people, they have an opinion and say, right, you're not following that opinion today, yeah? Of course I'm going to follow you today. Why? Just to, it's not a game. Like, difference of opinion is not a game. Difference of opinion actually shows the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there's room. Because you might find, for example, maybe it's you, because I think everyone else can hear me. I think it's your thing, because there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to hear me. Someone who lost consciousness, they went in a coma for a year. Some madhab will say he has to make up for every salah he missed for the year. So what happens, that person gets a book and they calculate how many days in a year again? 365, alhamdulillah.
366 if it's a leap.
So 365 times 5, yeah?
Yeah, that's true.
That's 1,825 salahs. Subhanallah. That's what he has to make up, yeah, for 1 year.
How many?
1,825. But what he has to do is also do this. After that calculation, he has to go 365. No. He has to work out how many of them is Dhuhr. All of this is Allah musta'an. What does Allah say? لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. خلاص. Alhamdulillah. Start praying now. But imagine this person has to do this. Well, I see some people in the masjid, as soon as Isha's finished, they go to the back of the masjid, Allahu Akbar. Doing so much salah, Allahu Akbar. You always know they start because they always say the first one, like, Allahu Akbar. Like, bro, how much is this guy praying, bro? لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها.
Translation, please.
Allah does not burden a soul beyond the scope. Person, imagine this. Imagine 5 years. Let's do it. 365 times 5 equals times 5 again. 9,125 salahs. This person say, "La, ana kafir. I'm not gonna pray." Allah musta'an. Imagine someone said, "Wallahi, you have to pray 9,125 salah." Say, "Khalas, qum alayya al-had, kafart." They're gonna become so depressed that they see the shara. This is the beautiful factor of ease in the religion. It's only someone of ignorance that will say, "La akhi, you're finished, bro. We're going out for dinner after Salah. The brothers, can you come? La akhi, I got 9,000 left." Allah,
It's like the man who killing, just keep killing.
100%.
Yeah, the guy said to him, "No, you can't forgive him." The thing's a Buddha, isn't it? So you can't forgive him. He just killed him, and then he went to the imam.
It wasn't a Buddha, it was a rahib. And some translate that as a monk, yeah? But what it means is a worshipper. Someone who's known for a lot of worship but doesn't have knowledge. That's the hadith of the man that killed 99. And what I love about that hadith is the fact that it's still called the man who killed 99 despite he killed how many? 100. SubhanAllah. But even that hadith is a lecture in and of itself. The fawaid that you can take from it. Now. So 1 second. Mum? Yeah, I'm just in the class right now though. I'm gonna call you back straight after. I've got about a couple minutes left. Yeah. Right. Credit. Alright, bye. Ever since I saw the Sheikh do it, alhamdulillah, how can I not? And sometimes, Allah musta'an, is just obviously myself reprimanding. There was times I would look at my mum calling me and be like, and this is when I was a bit younger, like, I'll call back. But then something came to my mind. Especially if you experience death in your family, you might question yourself, okay, but what if you try to call back and there's not an answer? You won't be able to live. You will have regret for the rest of your life. If your mum calls you, answer the phone. Even if it's just to say that I'm busy right now, can I call you back? Just so you can hear her voice, she hears your voice, and then at least she knows. Because also you might find out that you're busy, but what your mum needs is more of a priority than what you're busy with. Because if you go through a time when you don't answer the call to your mum, and you say, I want to call back, the time your mum returns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will always be scarred with the memory that what? You didn't answer that call. You didn't answer the call. And because I answered so fast, my mum said, you was waiting for a minute. I mean, I guided to Islam. I mean, now, what was we saying before that?
About making up the 9,000 salah.
Yes. So alhamdulillah, you don't have to make up 9,000 salah. But increasing your sunnah, like let's say you, for example, you did fall into a coma or something, you can't pray all that time, then just increasing your sunnah. If you know for many of your years you wasn't practicing Islam, you left out the salah, make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but increasing your sunnah salah. Increasing your voluntary salat. Don't burden yourself with counting how much you've done. Just do as much as you can, inshallah ta'ala. Now, it mentions, أنا أتوضأ من لحوم الإبل قال نعم. When a person was asked, do we make wudu from the camel's meat, he said yes. The difference when it comes to touching the woman if you have to perform wudu or not is because the ayah where Allah mentions أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء. He mentioned if one of you comes from relieving themselves, number 2, or touching the woman. But he mentioned لامستم here is kinayatan عن الجماع. Its meaning is jima'. And there are a number of words in the Quran that come with the meaning of jima' that are not explicit saying jima', intercourse. Such as نساءكم حرث لكم فأتوا حرثكم أن شئتم. Al-ityan. The word ityan is used for jima'. لا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد. Al-mubashara بمعنى الجماع is to mean intercourse. So there's words that are used that mean intercourse that don't directly translate as that. So lamastum, another qira'ah is lamastum. They say, those who say it means to touch, but those who say from the Salaf mention al-jima'. They meant al-jima'. But you also had from the Salaf those who took the opinion that it meant to touch. Okay. Shaykh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, he mentions a nice point about this. He said, when Allah says, أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط, this shows that it's hadith al-asghar, a minor impurity. أو لامستم النساء, he said there's no benefit, or it's not much of a benefit to repeat something that is a minor impurity that would only necessitate wudu. So this means a major impurity, so it's going to be ghusl, and that is going to mean jima', intercourse. I said to the brothers, so what happens if, like, you know, when we was in Medina and Mecca and stuff, yeah? I used to wind them up. Okay, it's so busy, innit? So imagine you're making tawaf. I said, Akhi, she touched you, bro. You gotta make wudu, Akhi. You know, but it didn't become enmity. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Don't become at war from difference of opinion. That's not the intention of difference of opinion. You see, rather you benefit from having these discussions, not debates. Forget the debating. But like me, I don't have enough knowledge to debate anyway. I'm jahil. What am I debating for? You see, some people ask me a question. Wallahi, I listen. I say, you know what? I'm not even responding. Why am I wasting my time? I don't have enough knowledge, and I know the person who's asking me and wants to debate doesn't even have enough knowledge either. So I'm being so ignorant to entertain it. You see, and successful ones are the ones who leave off argument. Because when you're arguing with someone who's jahil or behaving in a manner as jahil, what do you benefit? Like, let's say, for example, I'm the imam of the masjid, and someone wants to argue me, say, I'm arguing with you as Ibrahim, not as the imam. I say, alhamdulillah, then bye. What does that mean? You see, I'm not going to waste my time. What am I arguing for? Arguing doesn't do anything except for make your blood boil. And at the end, you feel embarrassed, feel stupid. So I say, I'm never doing that again. All of this. And he's like, I wasted all that time. For what? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu ma'a as-sadiqeen. All you who believe, be with the truthful ones. That's all you have to worry about. Be truthful, be with the people of the truth, khalas. Don't argue. And don't argue in matters of the religion that we don't have full comprehensive knowledge on. Especially when these scholars have spent their life studying, they're not arguing about this. So why are we going to argue for? For what? Those who have spent their whole life, longer than I've been alive, they've been studying, you don't see them arguing about this. Or behaving like their opinion is the only opinion that should be followed. They say, Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. هذا الراجح عندي. That's what's correct to me. You see? And that's like, al-khilaf raha wa rahma. Khilaf that is credible, differences of opinion is rest and mercy. The only people that make it difficult are those who blindfold people of ignorance. You see, you ask God to teach us beneficial knowledge. Wallahi, I remember when My first experience of going to a Muslim country is in 2012. I just finished Medina Book 2. I was speaking to one of Sheikh Albani's students, rahimahullah. The Sheikh's name, Sheikh Basim Jawabara, hafidhullah ta'ala. I said, Sheikh, I'm right now studying Arabic. And what's your advice for me to study after I study Arabic? He said, Usul al-fiqh. Principles of fiqh. And he said, Limada, why? He said, when you have difference of opinion, you will keep your friendship. Because you understand usul. You don't become enemies. Unlike today, people have difference of opinion. First thing they're cussing you out, speaking ill of you. Why? Because you differed with me and my sheikh. Okay, alhamdulillah. They treat us like a clubhouse, a membership. And there's like a secret policy. You don't agree with me and my sheikh, your membership is cancelled immediately. What does that membership cancellation mean? It's like we turn you off. No salam. No smile again. I remember I heard a story, yeah? It made me laugh. A brother told him that when he saw me, he gave me a bad look. And he thought that I was doing his job for the sunnah. I said, I didn't even see him though. Imagine that, how embarrassing that is. You're going to tell someone, I screwed him. And they're going to give you a pat on the back. MashaAllah, you did it for Salafiyah. He screwed me, I felt that. What's that going to do? That just makes you a miserable person. What am I screwing for? I smile at my enemies, I smile. I see them, I'm smiling. It's sadaqah. What am I screwing for? I need to screw you. Come on, man. Well, this is the sad reality of where it leads. There's ignorance. So yeah, I looked at him bad. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Knowledge beautifies the people of knowledge. You see. The more you gain, the more you realize you don't have. And then you become humble. And you become tolerant. Because I can guarantee there's opinions that people have that when they actually study, they come to learn, subhanAllah, I only have this opinion because someone told me, not from a place of studying. And then when you actually study, it's not that black and white. It's actually not bid'ah. It's actually allowed. You see? But before, you're cutting off everyone, you're dealing people bad. Why? Because in your head it's an innovation. But we're going to stop here, inshallah. I told my mum I'm going to call her back in a few minutes. نكتفي بهذا. If you have questions, save it for next lesson, inshallah. Or message me. بارك الله فيكم ونصلي وسلم على نبينا وحبيب محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.